It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the Greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV. Welcome friends and neighbors, I'm Tyler Kieft. Thank you very much for joining us today. A cold start to the week is just a preview of winter weather in Greater West Bloomfield in the days ahead. Snow is in the forecast, which means your commute to and from our area may get a little trickier as the days go on. It can be frustrating when a storm comes in and the roads are not all clear immediately on your morning commute or as you're heading home in the evening, but plenty happens behind the scenes with the Road Commission for Oakland County to make our roadways safe for motorists all throughout the winter season. We sent Jake Schaff out in the field for an inside look.
With winter continuing to wreak havoc here in West Bloomfield, the Road Commission for Oakland County has been hard at work maintaining our roads and keeping them safe for the entire community. And just recently, I had the chance to take a ride on one of their trips to get a first-hand look at what the Road Commission does and how they keep our roads safe.
Our role is to keep the roads as safe as possible for the people to get where they have to go safely and without any accidents, and that's our main goal. There's a lot involved in that. Putting the scraper down, putting the wing down, watching the traffic around you, and you got you got to turn the lights on the truck and apply the salt when you need to, and not apply the salt when you need to, because you don't want a whole bunch of salt on a road that doesn't need salt. So there's a lot involved in doing that. You really got to keep your heads up. After every snow event, the roads have to be pushed back, and we try to push them back beyond the white line, so trying to make them as wide as possible and as clear as possible for people to travel on.
And you do that with these wings that are attached to the truck right there. What can you tell me about those?
They really help out significantly. The wings, years past, they didn't have any wings on the truck, so I can tell from with the wings on, they help clear the roads a lot faster and a lot more efficiently.
And what can you tell me about the salting process that this truck utilizes?
Well, this truck has, mostly all our trucks have brine on them, and the brine really helps to activate the salt, which within an hour or actually 30 minutes, you can see the roads that you traveled on that has been salted and brine. The brine really works well to clear the roads and make them wet, and get all the snow off really, really quickly.
It's the kind of job that requires patience, attention to detail, and as Dave told me, incredible commitment.
Yes, usually we're on the road. Our shifts consist of 16 hours, and it gets tiresome, but when we're out there, the job needs to get done, and that's what we do. The one thing that I really see that's most concerning is people do not slow down in the bad weather conditions. For some reason, they just continue to drive, their normal, regular speeds, and I think that's a major contributing factor in why there's so many spinouts and so many accidents. People are just driving too fast on the roads.
What is it like to be devoting yourself and devoting your time to keeping this community that you love so much safe and sound?
It's hard to live in this state, and it's good to have the Road Commission here where they keep the roads as clean and safe as possible so people can get to where they got to go.
What's some advice you can offer to people as they continue to navigate the roads this difficult winter season?
I would just say please slow down on the roads, and when it's bad weather, keep your speeds lower than what they're supposed to be, and please allow enough room that the trucks can do what they got to do without interfering with the motorists.
It's always fascinating to learn what people do to help keep our city safe, and that's through dedication, commitment, sacrifice, and a lot of hard work. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaff.
More information is available on rcocweb.org. You can follow the Road Commission for more information as well on their Facebook page, facebook.com/roadcom, road, C-O-M-M. That will give you updates from the Road Commission for Oakland County when there is a storm in our area that will affect our local roadways. And remember, they'll clear the most heavily trafficked ones first. Think Orchard Lake Road, think Long Lake Road, think Cass Lake. Those are some of the more common roads in our area, Middle Belt, that will end up being uncovered first, salted first, and then the other smaller side streets between that. So keep that in mind as your commute runs forward later on this week. Things to do in Greater West Bloomfield this week: get back on track with your New Year's resolution to read more and do so with some friends and make some friends here in Greater West Bloomfield. The Friends of the West Bloomfield Township Public Library's next book talk event is coming up on Thursday at the Main at 7 p.m. If that doesn't fit your schedule, or maybe you're more of a morning person, you can also join them on Friday at 10 a.m. They'll be reading Charmaine Wilkerson's Good Dirt, a 2024 Book of the Year nominee from Time Magazine, NPR, People Magazine, and more. The Friends of the Library board member Diane Henderson told us on a previous edition of the Splash Live that Book Talks is aimed at creating an environment to bring local readers of all different interests and all different skill levels together, something that this club has been doing for over 40 years.
It offers all of those avid readers in West Bloomfield a place to come and talk about books. And we try and focus on books that we think will give them a good conversation. Not every book is good for a book group or a conversation. So what we're trying to do is to give all those avid readers in West Bloomfield a place to come, join other avid readers, and talk about books that people are reading.
There's plenty of other fun from the Friends of the West Bloomfield Township Public Library and the library team proper at the Main and the West Acres branch all year long. Follow them on Facebook and on Instagram at WestBloomLIB for more details. More happening at the West Bloomfield Public Library, not only in person, but in fact, actually online. There's a new look for the West Bloomfield Library's website, so things may be a little bit different the next time you log into your account. However, the library assures that it's even easier than ever before to find those good reads and other media online and reserve those pickups before you head out to your local branch as well. You can access your new page by logging in on WBLIB.org under the account section of their webpage. Take a look at this graphic on your screen. We'll put it full screen here in a moment for you. It shows a big difference between the old text-heavy layout. You see that on the right, mostly just a list of different things that you can look at and check out. You can't see the book cover. Maybe you're more of a visual person. Then on the left, that new image shows those books, shows those resources, an image-aided version that lets you see what you want to check out. This is just one of the many new technologies implemented recently by the library. Just before the end of 2025, Digital Services aide Robbie Pluta told us changes like this are part of the library's new message going forward about implementing technology into the next era of the library. Their new West Bloomfield Library app was also motivated by increased access to library resources at both branches, as well as improving digital literacy for all of Greater West Bloomfield.
So much of our lives now have become digitized. Your healthcare is online, your schooling's online, looking for a job is pretty much all online right now. So digital literacy is not just a luxury, it's a necessity. So anything the library can do to help our patrons feel more comfortable in this world is something that we feel obligated to do. We always want to increase people's access and their knowledge in any way we can. And so if this app helps people get more comfortable using other digital resources, that's a step that we want to take. And we've also taken further steps to increase our offerings for technology tutoring and for digital classes at the library. I just taught one the other day about people migrating to Windows 11. So we understand there's a lot of features out there that people are still learning to use and adapting to use, and we want to help facilitate that transition for our patrons.
Whether you like it or not, technology is just going to become more of an important part of every element of our day-to-day life. The library stepping in to help residents of Greater West Bloomfield, those library card holders, learn some of those steps and integrate that technology incrementally into their life through things like the library's app. You can learn more about that and their new website layout for members on their Facebook page. Visit them at WestBloomLIB. And of course, it's all online, WBLIB.org. Gatorade Players of the Year, multiple state finals weekend appearances, and state championships are just some of the many accomplishments for the West Bloomfield Lakers girls varsity basketball team in recent years. Now, thanks to one Laker upperclassman, you can add scoring milestones to that long list of accolades. You see her on the screen right there. Sheridan Beal, a career varsity player for the stellar Lakers squad, just scored her 1,000th career point on the hardwood, and that's in addition to signing the dotted line to play collegiate ball as well. She joins us now for further celebration right here on the Splash Live. Sheridan, thanks for coming on the show, and congratulations on these most recent accomplishments.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, happy to have you on. Been able to follow your career journey with the West Bloomfield Lakers. That's been pretty prolific even before this accomplishment. But 1,000 points is a big accomplishment. It means you've been on the varsity squad for a while. It means you've been an important part of that team's game plan and the execution of that game plan. So for you, as you were approaching that moment, you were getting closer to 1,000 career points. What was sort of the feeling for you on the court, knowing that your team's going to accomplish something out on the court if you do your job, but you're also going to reach that major milestone that, frankly, not many players at the high school level ever reach?
When it happened, I didn't necessarily know that it was going to be that game. I kind of had an idea that I was approaching my 1,000 points, but I wasn't sure when it was going to happen. But I was trying not to really let that consume me. It was a goal that I've always had, but I really just was trying to stay focused, and I knew if I kept working and just stayed focused on the game that it would come. So that's kind of just the mindset that I have. But it was super exciting, and I'm very blessed, and I know that that's a very big accomplishment.
And it shows that when you follow the process of this team under Darren McAllister and that coaching staff that's been here for so many years throughout your high school journey, and those of other very prolific players that are now playing at the D1 level, D2, D3, collegiately, that tells you that something works here. And so for you, how does that for yourself, the process of point A to point Z in your career, help you move forward and continue to develop as a high school basketball player and a future college basketball player?
Yeah, it kind of, let's see, it just, I mean, with our team, it's very easy to trust the process because I've been here since I was a freshman, and we've just accomplished so many great things. And even before I got here the year before then, we won a state championship, you know? So in every single year when people count us out or it seems like we're going to go down a little bit, we just trust our coaches and trust what we have as a team, and we accomplish great things, you know? So you can't really go against our process because we have the accolades and the success to kind of back it up, you know what I mean?
And now you're in a different position in 2026 with this particular team. After so many appearances in the MHSAA state finals weekend at the Breslin Center, and over the years, you have been able to learn the leadership process for this team and be able to step into this role after learning from the Davis twins, learning from the Hendricks girls, Destiny Washington, and so many others like them that came before you and that you played with on the court. How has their influence helped you now as you step into that upperclassman leadership role with the Lakers and continue to rack up your own personal accomplishments?
Yeah, I had a lot of great influences over the years, and I've played under some amazing players. So they kind of just showed me how to lead and how to carry a team and kind of put them on your back, but also how to support your team and hold them accountable. So yeah, it's been very easy to kind of get into this role, and I think I've slowly been preparing for it over the years and just having more and more of an impact over the team. But it's been a great transition, and having good people and great players ahead of me has definitely made it better.
And I'd imagine too, for now you in this leadership position with a new crop of players coming in this year, some holdovers, of course, from recent teams that have made those trips to the Breslin. That pressure has to be there. You've made so many appearances in recent years. You've won championships. You've competed for championships. You've got that back and forth where you're one of the powerhouses. Rockford's another one on the west side of the state. How do you manage expectations and the here and now, especially with players that maybe have not been part of the varsity squad, but are going to be part of a really good team as you continue the season?
Well, I think we know when it comes to West Bloomfield, we're a winning team and we hold a very high expectation. So we just always start the season with that mindset of we're getting to the Breslin or we're gonna get a state championship. So having that mindset always, I think, pushes us and makes us work to a certain level and a certain degree. But I think we just kind of have to take it step by step, and we go through the preseason, we work as hard as we can, but our mindset is always we're working towards March. So we work hard during the off season, so we make sure once we get to March and playoffs, we're ready, and we always just keep that championship mindset no matter what.
It's the common mantra for Coach McAllister and your staff there at West Bloomfield High School. Money in the bank. You build that up. You start saving throughout the year, and then you cash that in March when it really counts and gets you to the Breslin Center. Hopefully, brings you home a few trophies.
Yeah.
Sheridan Beal is with us, West Bloomfield High School standout girls basketball player who just scored her 1,000th career point on the hardwood and continues to be an absolute powerhouse for the Lakers on the court each and every game. Sheridan, your accomplishments are typically something that you and other players that have been in your position put on the back burner, but it's got to be something that you thought about early on in your career as you're dreaming about making the varsity team, winning state titles, competing, and maybe getting yourself to that collegiate level. So taking a step back to the beginning of your high school career, what were some of those personal goals that you sought out to accomplish that of course would come along with your team's success?
Of course, championships. Like when I first got to West Bloomfield, they won a championship the year before then. And I was there at the game, and I knew that was definitely something that I wanted to accomplish. And so I definitely kept that mindset. And I knew I always wanted to score 1,000 buckets. I know a lot of people don't do that, but I saw like India and Summer accomplish stuff like that. And I knew that I felt like if they could do it, I can do it. And that was another really big goal for me. So yeah, really just like the 1,000 points, being able to be a player to carry my team on my back and stuff like that, and just win games.
Sheridan Beal is with us from the West Bloomfield Lakers girls varsity basketball team. One of the best teams in the state in recent years, one of the best players on that Laker team in recent years, class of 2026. And just signed your national letter of intent to continue your career at the collegiate level for you to be able to keep playing the game you love at a highly competitive level. What does this other accomplishment on top of the 1,000 points mean to you?
It means so much. Like, since I started playing basketball, I knew what I wanted to do, and I knew that I wanted to play Division I basketball. So just to see my hard work kind of pay off and to know that, like, I'm making my younger self proud is just very much a blessing. And I'm very proud of myself for continuing to work hard and strive to make it possible. And I'm just grateful that I've had a great support system and a great team around me to be able to accomplish something like this.
On her way to play basketball at the collegiate level at North Alabama, possibly even before that, playing the McDonald's All-American game, also nominated for that earlier on this year as well. And Sheridan, you got so many players that are also of their own accomplishments that are up and coming on your team, the stars of the next era of West Bloomfield Lakers varsity basketball. As you step into the second portion of your senior season, you wrap up your high school career, you get ready for college ball. How do you factor in that leadership element too, getting these players ready to take on your role that you've had as a junior, as a sophomore, and now as a senior in the years ahead while still striving for that state title?
I think I do that by example, making sure that I do what I'm supposed to do. And I can say whatever I want to say, but if I'm not doing that and I'm not showing them, then how can they believe me or listen to the things I'm saying? So I try to lead by example, and I try to make sure that they keep that championship mindset and know that this is a program where we do big things. And so I try to nurture their mindset and also make sure that they're working hard, and just try to do everything I can to just be a great representation for them.
And lastly, you were once in this position. I also, as a lover of the game, was in this position. At a young age, you dream of playing high school ball at a high level, winning championships, playing in college, maybe even making the pros. For those young kids who are at that stage, they're just getting introduced to basketball, they're falling in love with the game, they want to be in your position. As they learn, as they grow around the game of basketball, what's your best piece of advice for them to be able to accomplish what you've accomplished while following their own path in the process?
I think it's a few things. I think working hard is one. You have to work hard. You're not going to be able to accomplish your goals if you're not putting in the practice and the time. It's gonna be stressful sometimes. You're gonna miss out on activities, but it's all about the sacrifice. And also just make sure that you focus on your journey and don't compare your journey to other people's journeys, because everybody's path is different. So just make sure that you stay focused to where you're at and just believe in your process. And at the end of the day, everything will be okay.
Greatness comes in all different forms and all different processes. You got to find what works for you and what works best for your team as well, especially in a game like basketball. Sheridan, before we let you go, anything else you'd like to say about 1,000 career points, McDonald's All-American nominee, possibly another championship run on the way as the Lakers continue this 2026 campaign?
I'm just very blessed and super grateful for the position that I'm in, and I'm ready to continue my senior season and, end with a win, a championship.
That run just a few weeks away. The playoffs are on their way as we get later into February and on to March. Sheridan Beal going to be a big part of that. Thanks for joining us today, and once again, congratulations on that milestone 1,000 career points.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you on, and so happy to have been able to have followed your journey throughout the years with the West Bloomfield Lakers girls varsity basketball team. North Alabama bound Sheridan Beal, 1,000 plus career points. You can see her on the hardwood at WB and all throughout the state of Michigan. Follow the Lakers girls varsity basketball team and all of the Laker sports in Laker Nation on their website, westbloomfieldathletics.com. Part of the design of the massive state-of-the-art Connect Community Center will be about making a building that is a work of art that represents all of West Bloomfield Township and the surrounding areas. And who better to partner with for a beautiful work of art than the Detroit Institute of Arts? It's all part of the DIA's Partners in Public Art, or PIPA program, and may soon be larger than life on the campus of the West Bloomfield Civic Center. I spoke to West Bloomfield Parks Executive Director Kelly Heyer to learn more. Kelly, thanks for coming on the show today.
Of course, good morning.
Glad to have you on to talk about this. This is going to be a big part of some of the upcoming projects with West Bloomfield Parks, especially perhaps maybe even at that brand new Connect Community Center coming up here in a couple of years. The Partners in Public Art program, it's something that several other communities nearby, communities that West Bloomfield Parks admires and in some ways emulates with its projects, have already participated in. So from your team's perspective, why was now the time to apply and perhaps maybe join this program in partnership with the DIA?
Well, thanks, Tyler, for that great intro, first of all. And yes, the mural has been on the side of the building in all of our renderings for a good part of the past 6 months. And we would like to make sure that when people enter the Civic Center campus along the boulevard there, they are greeted with something fun and interesting to look at. And so one of the ideas came across the supervisor's desk actually this past winter was this DIA Partners in Public Art opportunity. And the Township Board did give us support to apply, as well as the West Bloomfield Parks and Recreation Commission last week. And so we are going to apply and see what happens. But I think you said it very succinctly, that who better to partner with than the experts right here in the Metro Detroit area. And they have access to a lot of resources. This program has been established since 2018, and they've learned a lot about large mural installations. And so while we still have a lot of questions and want to make sure that this is something that we would even be considered, although they have said our project does fit the initial criteria. But this is something we want to explore because, again, we want something interesting and fun and amazing when people pull into the building on this campus that they feel great about.
And so this program, not yet officially that partnership between the DIA and West Bloomfield Parks, in the initial stages, the application process, sending in the details you need to the Detroit Institute of Arts so they understand where you're coming from, and then from there can move forward on this. So let's move forward a few months down the road. Perhaps maybe this has gone to fruition and the Detroit Institute of Arts wants to partner with West Bloomfield Parks to put up a mural in our community. What are you looking for? What's your team looking for in a mural, and how do you imagine that process will take place to go from exploration to execution of that work of art being displayed in our community?
Well, at first we'll start with making sure that our campus partners get involved initially, because we would have to all agree on the expression, the color palette, the size, and of course, what is the theme going to be? But we've already discussed publicly that both Township Board and Parks Commission celebrate nature. That seems to be a common theme throughout the whole township that would likely be the perfect fit for the side of our building. Of course, we would want it to make sure that it fits the campus vibe. And so perhaps we'll have some more information to share in the next couple months. But I will say that nature is the top theme, and we would have to work together with the other local elected officials to make sure we're going in the right direction. The other fun thing is because the DIA has so much access to artists and artists with a lot of variation in style and experience, that they might even have an idea already for West Bloomfield, knowing what we stand for.
Kelly Heyer is with us on the Splash Live today, Executive Director for West Bloomfield Parks, as they are in the exploratory phase of potentially bringing the DIA's Partners in Public Art, or PIPA program, to the Civic Center complex in West Bloomfield, where it would very literally be the front-facing piece of art to the township government when you enter that campus in the future, with if that goes up at the Connect Community Center. And Kelly, this was a big topic of conversation with your board recently in discussing whether or not to approve putting forth the application. The emphasis on these artists, or this artist, whomever it may be, that designs and executes this mural, be a local artist, not some big name that's going to come in and get a big commission, but uplifting somebody local, where we have a very vibrant art community in Greater West Bloomfield, in Oakland County, and in Southeast Michigan. How important of a factor is it that somebody that's on the up and coming from our community or nearby gets to spearhead this project with your organization?
Well, you're right about being lots of talent right here in this community. And the neat thing about the DIA program is they do encourage local artists to apply. So if you're hearing this newscast and you have not already associated yourself with the DIA PIPA program, you can simply go online and apply, and they'll take it from there as far as needing resumes and showcasing their portfolios. But the one thing that is, if you take a look at all the different examples, there's a wide variety of murals already installed through this program, and you can see the different talents that it is taken, because some is more very specific to the community, large bubble letters that are representative of the community's name, all the way to significant figures, faces on the wall, as well as nature scenes. I do recall there being an existing mural too that I think they're highlighting the fire department, for example. So lots of examples out there, but yes, they do love to hear from local artists, and that's why they put that link right out there to make sure that people have easy access to apply, be considered.
Yeah, that project you're referencing, Chesterfield Township Central Fire Station, one of 2025's editions of the PIPA program with the Detroit Institute of Arts. Others nearby, close to home, Lathrop Village City Hall, the Southfield Arts and Activities Building, the Trenton Village Theater. and so many more. More information on that, dia.org, as West Bloomfield Parks perhaps going to be on that list for 2026 or 2027 down the line, and could be a large piece of public art coming to our Civic Center complex. Kelly, how does your team at West Bloomfield Parks envision public art being part of not only the design and the collaborative aspects of putting up this new community center, but why is it an important element of communicating what it means to live in West Bloomfield and represent your organization at what will be a landmark building in the community?
So people can probably all relate that when you walk into a building, immediately you know if you're feeling a certain type of feeling. And we want people to feel welcome, happy. We want them to feel invigorated, inspired, because they're coming to a community center for some kind of outlet, whether it be social or physical, maybe perhaps to learn something. And art encompasses all of that. We want the spaces to be exciting and sometimes colorful, where other spaces may be a little bit more calming. And so in our building, we've already picked out a selection of materials that everything from the wallpaper to paint color to light fixtures, whether it's the shape or the style, the monolight that's being allowed through in the spaces, to the natural light. And of course, art is the other thing that we've talked about. And in some spaces in the building, we've identified where it needs to be a colorful, more wall application. In other parts of it, we want to celebrate our history. And then, of course, you get into the nature education team. And you've been in our spaces already, Tyler, so you've seen examples of where we have used art to showcase important elements that the naturalists are teaching. So maybe it was in the, if you remember the animal exhibit that we had in the old nature room. Well, we could only have so many animals. The rest were painted on the walls to give tools to our naturalists, the teaching tools, so kids can understand, or even adults, what we're talking about and the different environments and habitats that animals live in, as well as the outside. If you recall, we have an old mural at the Recreation Activity Center that has actually outlived its useful life. But that was another idea of how to make the outdoor natural play area more vibrant, more exciting, and give the naturalists, again, the teaching tools that where you wouldn't find the examples readily available in nature, and they would have this great palette to teach from. So we've already put lots of different art into places already in West Bloomfield Parks, but we're ready to take the next step, and perhaps it will be in the form of a large mural.
Well, look, there's a lot of people excited about the Connect Community Center coming in a couple of years, that massive expansion of already what are amenities available to people in Greater West Bloomfield through West Bloomfield Parks at places like the current Connect Community Center, as well as other parks around the community. This will just be another part of that project that will attract people to West Bloomfield. So Kelly, right now, as you mentioned, in the preliminary stages, your board has approved for your team to put forth that application to the Detroit Institute of Arts. They'll review that. Maybe they'll decide West Bloomfield's ready for this now. Maybe you'll have to try again in a year or in a couple of years after the building's already up. Who knows? But if that is decided that West Bloomfield Parks is going to be one of the next communities to participate in this Partners in Public Art program, what's the estimated timeline for when we might see this come to fruition at the new building?
Sure, you've heard me talk about this. So just depending on the comfort level of the commission, this could be something we put up when the building goes up, or it could be something added to down the road. So what is important to us, though, at this time is, if selected, making sure that we get the materials right, because one of the things that we have to commit to is maintaining the mural for 10 years. And in order to do that, we have to get the under part of where the mural would go correct. We need the right materials for them to be adding whether it be paintings directly on the surface, we have to get that right, so that way we also can plan for the protective coating to go on. So with all of that said, with the building going up starting this spring, so spring of 26, and completed in fall of 27, residents could perhaps, that would be the earliest you would see it next summer. Let's say though the scenario is they want to wait a little bit, and in that scenario, that would be once the building comes live, as early as 2028, 29 maybe, because again, once the walls start to go vertical on the campus, I would imagine that is when the DIA would be ready to start talking about application.
More information on this project and other things happening with West Bloomfield Parks are available on wbparks.org. Kelly, I could talk to you about this all day, but until someone stops me, and they told me we got to move on. We got other people we got to get to on today's edition of the program. Got to say goodbye, but thank you as always for joining us and giving us the latest about the Connect Community Center and this exciting project.
Thanks for the great interview, Tyler. Appreciate it.
As of now, that project not official just yet. As Kelly had mentioned in that interview, the DIA taking applications for the PIPL program, including that from the West Bloomfield Parks and Recreation Commission, their January meeting. They voted in favor of submitting that application to the Detroit Institute of Arts. Should they be selected, as Kelly said, that timeline would begin. It would coincide more than likely if they're selected in this year's crop of communities to be put on the Connect Community Center as it is built over the next year to 2 years. And then there's that 10 years of maintenance ahead from there. Plenty more on the Connect Community Center project coming up here on the Splash Live in the months ahead, and also all across Civic Center TV. Tune in to the West Bloomfield Township Board meeting for February, the Parks and Recreation Commission meeting, and more to continue to get a progress report on that project as it comes together. CivicCenterTV.com, the place to go for all of those live and on demand. And of course, WBParks.org for more information from West Bloomfield Parks themselves. Close to home, a Metro Detroit tradition that gets everyone's sweet tooth activated. Punchki Day will make its way to Orchard Lake Village a little early for the St. Mary's crowd coming up very soon. Courtesy of Irina's Pastry and Bistro, which brings the Polish tradition to one of the local Polish community's hubs on the campus of Orchard Lake Schools. Here with an inside look is Eva Wilkinson from Irina's Pastry and Bistro. Eva, thanks for coming on the show today.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Glad to have you on the program as we get ready for Fat Tuesday across Metro Detroit. But there's a little secret there that people maybe outside of the Polish community don't know. In Metro Detroit, we tend to celebrate Fat Tuesday, but traditionally it's Fat Thursday, and that's what you're taking part in with Orchard Lake Schools about a week earlier than the day proper on the holiday calendar. So what does this mean to Polish communities in Greater West Bloomfield and Metro Detroit? What does this day really signify?
So Fat Thursday, as we call it back in Poland, we celebrate this prior to beginning Lent. So kind of like Mardi Gras, right? It's the week prior to giving up a lot of things for Lent specifically. So what you do, here in the States, maybe people only needed 1 day to eat other pumpkin, but you need pretty much a week before, being able to give up, like I said, the things that you're not supposed to have during Lent. So your fats, your oils, your eggs, sweetness, right? All sugar. So you use up all of your stock at home. So you're not tempted to eat any of that during Lent. So that's the gist of why we have Pączki Day. Or the Pączki weekend back in Poland.
And you're bringing this into Orchard Lake Schools, of course, the St. Mary's students, some of the other students and those working on the campus are going to be able to participate in this with the Polish Institute for Culture and Research at Orchard Lake housing itself on that campus. So much of our local Polish culture is encapsulated on that campus. Why does it make it important to now introduce this tradition, learn more about this tradition for kids in Orchard Lake and surrounding areas?
Absolutely. It's being able to connect to your cultural identity. Myself, I've been part of the Orchard Lake community for a very long time, since I was a child, doing Polish dancing, right, eating food, participating in the church services there, the museum. And I think it is really important for individuals to understand where things come from, why we do what we do. Again, the cultural identity. So it's really nice to help others connect with that.
And it creates a sense of community, too, at that school and in the local Polish area. We know that when it comes to Pączki Day, that is something that brings so much of Metro Detroit together around this Polish tradition. And so as you're preparing for that, and of course I'd imagine one of the busiest days of the year for your bakery as well, is there a sense of pride that comes with not only is my culture going to be on display and something that's going to be the focal point for the entire area, but we're also, in a way, bringing the entire area together here in Southeast Michigan?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I'm very proud of what my family has brought, was able to bring, from Poland, and being able to teach that and share what a traditional pączek actually tastes like as well. That's probably what we're really, really proud of the most, is keeping it as traditional as possible. Yes.
And so, food's such a big part of any culture. It is one of those universal languages like music or art that allows people to get that inside look at a culture that maybe isn't something they're affiliated with or something they don't quite understand. How does Pączki play into showing the tradition of the Polish community in Greater West Bloomfield and Southeast Michigan, but also the Polish American community that's adapted this holiday into a tradition in Metro Detroit?
Well, it does bring a sense of, bringing the family together, essentially, and learning techniques that are very specific to pączki making. Learning how to knead, the dough very, very, very specifically, when to put in the filling, why do we use the filling we use. So, you learn the history as you learn how to make something. And again, it brings the family together. I have many memories with myself, my brother, working long nights, sleepless nights actually, with my parents, making pączki for the community. So it does bring that sense of family together.
Eva Wilkinson is with us from Irina's Pastry and Bistro on the Splash Live today. Her team will be out at Orchard Lake Schools for Fat Thursday, a celebration a little bit early for the students at Orchard Lake Schools, but on the campus of a place where so much of our local Polish American culture and Polish culture from the old country is celebrated every single day. You mentioned those long sleepless nights making pączki with your family. For getting ready for Fat Tuesday or Fat Thursday traditionally, I'd imagine the hardest day of the year, the biggest buildup of the year, and all that work that goes in, because you're making these on a level maybe you're not doing any other day of the year. Take us through the Monday before, the Tuesday of, the Wednesday before Fat Thursday traditionally.
Okay, taking you through those days. Well, you want to dress comfortably. A big workspace, everybody has their kind of job. You have your stations, lots of coffee. You need good company as well. It's fun. We often sing, just to kind of keep ourselves awake, but that's really what it looks like. And it's just, you just keep going. You just keep going. And it's really quite amazing because, we take a long time making these pączki, and then they're like gone in a second or sold in a second. And it's satisfying, and yet like, oh, okay, all that work and ooh, they're gone. But it's good. It's a good thing.
Yeah, one of those experiences that I would think very tiring, but you wake up a couple days later after you're finally rested and you can reflect a little bit and do so with clear mind and think, wow, we did something great and we brought a lot of people together. That's what you're doing at Orchard Lake Schools. It's kids, it's students, it's teenagers a lot of the time who are going to be participating in this, and for them, it's just another great snack, but it's also an experience and it's a learning opportunity behind that also. So as students learn more about Pączki Day, they learn more about this Polish tradition, this Polish American tradition, what messages do you hope that they take away as they dive into this immersive experience later this week?
Again, just the cultural part of it. This tradition has been happening for a long time. And there's a reason why it's continuing, is because of passing it on to, the younger generations in general. It says a lot about, I think, again, our culture. I know I'm being a little repetitive about that, but there's that sense of the cultural identity that is important. Like I said, going back to, like learning about what it is a Ponchek, what's the most important part and aspect of a Ponchek, which makes it very different than just maybe a regular donut. So it's like knowing the little tidbits, again, helps increase that cultural identity.
And if people want to learn more beyond that celebration, anything else special happening at Irena's as we get ready for Fat Tuesday and, of course, Fat Thursday, the traditional date?
No, just us making ponchki for right now. That's what we're just thinking about for right now. And then Easter, of course. But that's, yeah.
And the good thing about the tradition is once you get to Lent, you can choose, hey, I'm going to put a little bit extra in there. I'm going to give up punchki for a little bit, and I'll get back to making that. Give me a week, whatever I need. Just get that space away after a very busy period, getting that ready for the good people of Greater West Bloomfield and Metro Detroit. I want to thank you so much, Eva, for taking the time out of making punchki to talk with us today as you get ready. And best of luck to you in this Fat Tuesday season.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Glad to have you on the show. There's plenty more happening that encapsulates Polish culture at the Polish Institute for Culture and Research at Orchard Lake and all across the campus of Orchard Lake Schools. PICROL.org is their website with more traditional events coming up around Fat Tuesday and well beyond that as well. Some of the best high school sports programs call West Bloomfield High School home. But Laker Nation, like any team, is nothing without strong leadership steering the ship. Athletic directors across the state agree. Nobody does it as well as West Bloomfield High School Athletic Director Eric Pierce, who was recently named the MIAAA Region 11 Athletic Director of the Year. I spoke to Eric about this special honor as well as what sports means to developing the community at West Bloomfield High School. Eric, welcome to the show, and of course, congratulations.
Tyler, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to be on with you.
Yeah, happy to have you on, especially to talk about this, because you've been hard at work at West Bloomfield High School in its athletics programs for a number of years, certainly in the last several years to a decade as the athletics director at West Bloomfield High School, running the oversight of all of these programs. But to have this recognition come now, especially from your hardworking peers in Oakland County and throughout the state of Michigan, what does that mean to you personally?
Well, I really think you hit the nail on the head. You know, I'm awfully flattered. Anytime you get recognized by your peers, people you work with and talk to a bunch, it's extremely flattering. You know, I think as with many things in athletics, this is a team award, though. You know, I have wonderful people that I work with day in and day out in our athletic office. Shamrika Howell, Bruce Buffmeyer, Billy Brown. A lot of people that contribute to all of our events here. But the big thing I think that, you know, people recognize around the state is they recognize that West Bloomfield's got positive momentum. We built a great brand here. We have great tradition. We have wonderful facilities that we use for our athletic events. And we have systems in place to try to make our events run smooth. But most importantly, I think that at West Bloomfield, we provide a remarkable game day experience for everybody, and that they truly enjoy coming here.
It's a very different experience, too, being an athletic director than it is being a teacher or being a coach. But they all sort of have similar qualities that bring success at each one of those individual jobs and each one of those roles. So how did your past as a teacher originally at the school and then also in your coaching capacity help aid you as you're now overseeing and helping to lead all of these sports across all three of the seasons throughout the year at West Bloomfield High School?
Well, I think those experiences that I had definitely help in this job every single day. First and foremost, we all know it's all about the student athletes. It's all about the kids here at the school. And we want to provide the best opportunities in educational athletics. You know, to walk around the hall and to see them smiling and to see them happy with what's going on with our athletics programs, that's a true blessing in itself. And that's a huge reward. In addition to that, being a teacher, having the ability to relate to the students and talk to them and recognize both the educational aspect of the games as well as the competitive level of the game, it's extremely important. I think that's a lot from my background in coaching as well. People will tell you, those that played for me, that I was tough. I was tough on them as a coach. My expectations were extremely high, but at the same time, I was one of the first people that would come up and say, hey, I appreciate you. I trust you. I love you. All these different types of things, and congratulate them. It's a mutual respect that goes with between the student athlete and their coaches and the student athlete and their teachers. And, I always say it during our signing day ceremonies, but our student athletes are some of the best representatives of our school and what we hope our students will be. And we truly get to see that every single day in our athletic program.
And from your perspective, how does athletics, especially at the high school level, where, look, some people are going to go play collegiately in any of the lower divisions or certainly in the D1, those prestige schools and those prestige sports, but for most people it's an activity that helps to enrich their learning. How does involvement in athletics help our students become better students, better young men and women, and on top of that, improve, as you mentioned, the culture of the school itself?
Well, there's always something to be said for the life lessons that athletics teach you. Every single day you're learning something. Failure is a big thing, and how you respond to failure. You look at a lot of our sports, and failure is a huge part of it. And it's our student athletes that have the ability to bounce back up, do things right on the next play. We always say good play, bad play, there's always the next play. And we want them to make sure that they're able to handle situations where they're not successful. And that says a lot about your character. But I think overall, when you look at athletics, just getting involved in something always improves the experience of high school. We tell everybody in their freshman orientation here at West Bloomfield that our biggest thing as an administrative team is we want you to get involved. You find your niche, you find your group of people that you want to hang out with, and it gets you as part of the community. We are Laker Nation. There's no doubt about it. And we think that if you get involved in the different activities that we have, whether it's athletics or the clubs or anything that you're interested in, that you're going to feel like a member of that nation, and you're gonna love to experience all the different opportunities that we have here.
Eric Pierce is with us, the West Bloomfield High School Athletic Director, who's recently been named the MIAAA Region 11 Athletic Director of the Year. Big congratulations to him from the whole team at the West Bloomfield School District, certainly at West Bloomfield High School, but also from his peers across the state. Eric, there's a lot of ways to measure success on the field, on the court, your records, your championships, whether you're competitive locally and at the state level, winning those rivalry games. But as an athletic director, how do you measure success of your individual programs and then yourself personally and professionally in your capacity?
Well, I believe the truest measure of the form of success is if I ask a student athlete, when they graduate from high school, if they go back and they relive the 4 years of athletics that they had here at West Bloomfield, if they had that opportunity, would they do it? And if all of them say yes and that they love the experience and everything of that nature, then I am truly happy. I really am. We want to make sure that we provide the best opportunities for them. We want them to know that when they go out there and they're representing West Bloomfield, when they're representing our Laker Nation, that they're going to have the opportunity to showcase their skills, but more importantly, to show what we offer as a school. They're true representation of West Bloomfield High School. And I tell you, the greatest measure of success, yes, it comes in the form of how many people that we have play at the next level, and it comes in the form of championships, and it comes in the form of, everything that we see day to day here in the athletic office. But the biggest measure of success is the smile and the enjoyment of our student athletes.
And we can see it on those signing days, on game days when they get, senior night, and so many people come out to support all these different sports, whether they're involved in them or not, whether they have a friend in them or not. There is that, as you say all the time, Laker Nation behind each and every one of these sports. And lastly, Eric, before we let you go, we think about, so often when we think about our high school sports, we think of the so-called prestige sports, football, basketball, baseball. but really there's so many different options for kids at West Bloomfield High School. You've been expanding those programs now to 39 different athletics teams that are involved in Laker Nation. What does that mean to you to be able to give those opportunities to a variety of student athletes?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that we're meeting the kids and what their interests are, and that's an awesome thing. If a student comes up to me and say, hey, I'm interested in this, we have a plan, we want to compete with our friends, is there an option for that? We do whatever we can to try to help them out with that. And to see our programs expanding, and especially with enrollment numbers going down and everything like that, to still have the same number of student athletes that we've been having over the past few years, that lets me know something. That lets me know that my coaches are doing a fantastic job out there. It lets me know that people are enjoying their experience in athletics, and it lets me know that the program is strong. And ultimately, that's what we want here at West Bloomfield High School: provide those opportunities and have that strong program that students want to be a part of.
Eric Pierce, the MIAA Region 11 Athletic Director of the Year for the state of Michigan, joining us on the Splash Live. Also the Athletic Director at West Bloomfield High School. Before we let you go, Eric, got another 60 seconds or so. Is there a moment in your career, either as a coach or as an athletic director, that you look back on particularly with a sense of fondness that says to you, I'm doing my job right and I'm making a difference at the school and in these kids' lives?
Well, I know you remember the COVID times, Tyler, because you were in there with me as well. But I think you can remember the Donovan Edwards, Max Harrison signing day, where we had 6 people signing our student athletes out in the middle of our Lakers Stadium field in a blizzard. And we had said that, we're going to make this as special as we possibly can for those student athletes. We want to make sure that they have their day just like everybody else had. And nothing was going to prevent us from celebrating them. And I tell you what, it was a blizzard. I know you remember we could see the logo at the beginning of the day at the center of the field. We sure as heck couldn't see it at the end of the day. It was covered in probably about 3 or 4 inches of snow by the time we got out there. But we had a number of people that were there, and it was just smiles all around. ESPN covered it, everybody covered it, and you guys did a wonderful job as well. And I truly appreciate those types of memories, because those are the things that you carry on in your career, and you say, hey, that was pretty cool. At the time, it was a little weird. It was a little bit crazy. People might have laughed at it and all those different types of things, but what a wonderful experience for those student athletes, and what a wonderful experience for us as a program.
Yeah, I'm still unthawing from that day, but it was nonetheless a great day to talk to Donovan, to talk to Max, and see all these different athletes from basketball to volleyball and even more of the football athletes be able to achieve a dream and have so many eyes on them that day. Eric, thank you as always for your time, and congratulations.
Thank you so much, Tyler. Go Lakers.
That a great day for Laker Nation. A cold day, but a great day for Laker Nation. So many more memories are at the hands of Eric Pierce and his team at West Bloomfield High School. Congratulations once again, and we want to encourage you to follow along with all of the West Bloomfield Lakers athletics programs all across the school year. Visit them on westbloomfieldathletics.com, or you can follow us for more coverage. Scan that QR code on your screen, and they'll take you to all of our social media for our coverage of West Bloomfield athletics all throughout the school year. That's our show. I want to remind you that television that's close to home is always available online, CivicCenterTV.com, and across those social media outlets. Big thank you to our entire crew making the magic happen behind the scenes, including Jonathan Montgomery, who you'll see much more of in the days and weeks ahead. And here's to you, of course, for being part of today's adventure with us as well. For our entire team, I'm Tyler Kieft. Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV.